The world's largest refugee camp, hosting the world's largest stateless community. This is Cox's Bazar, a sprawling settlement in the hills of southeast Bangladesh. Once known as a region for tourism, it is now a refuge for people like 28-year-old mother of 6, Noor Haba. She has lived here since 2017, when she was forced to flee her home in neighbouring Myanmar. My mother Mariam was shot dead in front of me by the military, she says, and my home was set on fire. Then, as the remaining family members attempted to escape the violence by crossing a river, Noor's 2-year-old son Mohammed was swept away in the waters, drowning before he could reach safety. Noor's story is not unique. Since 2017, the Rohingya have been targeted by Myanmar's military in a campaign of killing, arson, rape and torture, which has since been described by UN experts as a textbook case of ethnic cleansing. It is why so many Rohingya, like Noor, have escaped across the border to Cox's Bazar here in Bangladesh.
10 years ago, this was all jungle. Now it's home to around 1.3 million Rohingya refugees who live across 33 camps here in Cox's Bazar. And more people are arriving each day, 150,000 in the past year alone.
The population density in the refugee camps is 45,000 people per square kilometre, and if I just put that into the perspective, the Ireland has 73 people per square kilometre. So we're talking about people living in such a congested environment, and 75% of them are women and children. They are fully dependent on humanitarian aid.
Even with the support of aid organisations like Concern, the Rohingya face huge challenges, poor sanitation and hunger chief among them. While over the years hundreds of fires have been recorded in the densely populated camps,
the Rohingya are also at the mercy of extreme weather events made worse by climate change. It's now the dry season, but just a few short months ago there was a major landslide here on the hill behind me after days of heavy rain. Luckily, no one was injured, but it shows just how precarious life is here in Cox's Bazar.
The challenges due to hot seasons, we have to difficult in here to drink fresh water because here is not available the water. So we also face in the winter season like the clothes, warm clothes, and the rainy season is the landslide and the flooding.
The Rohingya do not have permission to work outside the camps or move freely. And with fighting continuing across the border, returning home is not currently an option. For now, here in this crowded labyrinth, it is a life on hold. This is baby Ashia. She is 7 months old and severely malnourished. Her weight closer to a newborn infant in Ireland. Her young life shaped by events far beyond her control. Her 21-year-old mother Sajida Begum tells us she has lived in Cox's Bazar since she fled Myanmar after the military attacked her village and burned down her home. Now she struggles to care for Ashia in the camp, as Sajida herself has been suffering from HIV, diabetes and dengue fever, a viral infection transmitted by mosquitoes. Ashia is now gradually gaining weight. Since first receiving support here at a nutrition centre run by Irish NGO Concern Worldwide in Cox's Bazar. But cuts to international aid budgets mean children like these are now even more at risk. Under President Donald Trump, The US has dramatically slashed funding for humanitarian assistance globally, impacting access to food, medication, the basic means for survival. Already here in Cox's Bazar, UNICEF has reported an 11% rise in the number of children with acute malnutrition between January and September this year. And it could be about to get a lot worse. The World Food Programme has warned that it may be forced to cut food rations from $12.50 to $6 per person per month.
The high rate of malnutrition will appear that will lead to the death of the young children, and the service we are expecting to deliver to the pregnant and the lactating breastfeeding mothers. In addition to that, sanitation will lead to a couple of disease outbreak over there, and that has an impact on health.
The aid cuts are also impacting education, and UNICEF has warned that up to 300,000 children could be without learning services next year due to funding shortfalls.
This school only has enough funding to stay open until December 31st, impacting pupils like Noor Harris, a 13-year-old with big plans for his future.
I want to be a pilot, teacher, and engineer. My livelihood is very good. My favorite time is play football and reading the stories and books.
The dreams and ambitions of generations of Rohingya now facing further uncertainty in the world's largest refugee camp. Home to 36 million people, Dhaka is a vast megacity, a landscape constantly expanding upwards and outwards, where high-rise towers and slum settlements lie side by side. It is also on the front line of the climate migration crisis.
Each day, around 2,000 people move to Dhaka to escape extreme weather events in rural Bangladesh, like severe flooding and cyclones. They come here hoping for a better life. The reality is often quite different.
Beasley Begum is originally from Bola in the south of Bangladesh, one of the areas most impacted by climate change in the world. Her home was swept away by the river and rebuilt further up the banks 3 times, she says. But still, the river erosion continued, forcing the family to leave their community and move to Dhaka. But instead of finding opportunity and security in the capital, Beasley, her husband Khairul, and their 4-year-old son Yasin are now sleeping rough. Homelessness and slum living, the most common experience for climate migrants in Dhaka.
Around 700,000 people migrate because of climate change impact every year in Bangladesh, and majority of them, if not 100%, end up coming to Dhaka because this is the biggest economic hub. However, as you can see, the Dhaka is highly densely populated city, so majority of them end up spending in the slums, which are very, very poor in living condition. There is no public supplies in terms of water, education facilities for the children. The housing is very, very cramped.
It is a particular issue in the largest slum area of Karail, where, according to the International Organization for Migration, around 70% of residents have fled some sort of environmental shock.
Because of the nature of the cramped conditions here in Karail, fires are a major hazard. And just last night, a major fire burned here for 16 hours. No one was injured, but thousands of people have been left without their homes.
Including Minu Begum, who lived here in what was once one small room with her husband and 2 children.
When I saw the fire, everything is like burning, and I just ran out. I ran out with the kid, the newborn with me holding. I have everything in my home. It's totally gone. It's utensils, all the furniture, all the stuff at my house, and I couldn't even save one dress for my kid.
For Minu, her family and thousands of others who have already escaped the impacts of climate change elsewhere in Bangladesh, this is the reality of life in Dhaka. They have fled one environmental disaster and found themselves at the centre of another. Lives lived on the edge and the forefront of the climate catastrophe.